Hey everybody, just back for round two of Greg Baronet's album, tracks 11 to 20, getting into Fairytale. Let's go. Oh? That brass is kind of dope. Where are we going with this though?
Deep in the dark, where no one dares, her own secret kingdom underneath the stairs.
Where are we going with this?
Who seeks to enter, and from who knows where, she can't believe that she found him standing there.
Oh, okay. Is it that kind of fairy tale? All right. Dun, 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 dun. It's kind of like a dance kind of dance kind of groove to it, doesn't it? Dun, 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 dun. What was it? That is 6/8, isn't it? One and no, it's still a triplet with 16ths.
It's true.
Oh, that dark turn there.
Friends beware. She is the ghost of the great queen of Equestria.
Oh, beautiful. It ended up turning out nicely. Yeah. Greg Baronet is very, very, very keen to have his music match the content to the lyrics very accurately, and you get a clean, clear cut of this in this track.
Just kiss her hand and make her your wife, and she'll vow to haunt you and lighten up your life. Go on.
This is almost academic in the way that it's been prescribed. It's this is the mark of someone who's studied music, or at least has an incredibly intimate understanding of it. Someone who's spent a lot of time learning the tricks in regards to composition and songwriting. Just to get these chords and melodies and different bits to work together so well.
He dared the dark.
And strings coming in so sweetly there.
Under the stairs, in a forbidding castle keep, a solitary queen, slumbering deep, a beauty so rare that it made his poor heart weep. It's true.
I'm just gonna check something real quick. You know those moments where you realize that you've done like 7 music reviews in the space of a day, and you almost have an accident because you think, wait, did I just delete the session files for an entire album recording without rendering a specific part of it because I'm splitting those ones into different episodes? And then you feel that sigh of relief when you realize, no, you're not losing your mind. You actually did render that. It's fine. That would have been distinctly the opposite of a fairy tale.
My new friend so fair, he wants to join her as the king of Equestria.
This would work great for kids' books. The music is fairly magical, isn't it? There's a lot of warmth and love to it.
So take this kiss from him.
There's an innocence to it.
Understand from this day.
Very different to some of the other material on this album so far.
Forever and a day. Please stay.
This album is something special. That's just... It's like Greg looked into every single aspect of every single song and was like, does that need to be there? He was asking himself constantly, can we improve this?
But that was then, and we get to know that all of our dreams are seldom left to grow. So your kingdom fell as the years fell away. Who would have ever...
That's a kind of groovy thing going on with the drums there. Dun, 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 dun. The drums have picked up a little bit really subtly, haven't they?
That you would part one day. It's true.
It's a stunning percussive performance,
My old
actually.
friends, take care. You have long forsaken your young dreams of equestrian.
And like that snare tone is really nice and thick. And it's very punchy in the mix. I like that.
Futures are calling, and so you turn away. But sweet
Those strings are adorable, dude.
memories will haunt you forever and a day. They may.
Finishing with They May. Beautiful way to just kind of, yeah, it kind of reminds me of some nursery songs, some fairy tales that I heard as a kid. Very fresh sounding tones to those synths. Very alluring instrumentation. Having this additional instrumental layer at the end here fills in the gap where the vocals were before. That fairy tale of the two that were the king and queen of Equestria. I'll let this play out and then I want to have another listen through the last chorus a little bit. I feel like I missed some important stuff. And it's like the horns of the people announcing the king and queen of the land, right? That's fun. That's really fun.
Are calling, and so you turn away. So my old friends, take care.
It gets a bit darker though, doesn't it?
Have long forsaken your young dreams of equestrian. Your futures are calling, and so you turn away. But sweet memories will haunt you forever and a day.
Now this is very different. I'm glad I took another listen to it because I feel like I missed some stuff. There's a hesitance to accept that destiny, to be a part of that alternate reality because the person just wants to be stuck inside their own head, right?
They may.
Is this like the loss of innocence when people grow up and they stop imagining like a beautiful, like, a beautiful time as an adult where they become a king or a queen and they grow up and they just are happy? Is this song about the loss of innocence there? It would make sense if that was the case. I think that'd be, given some of the other material on this album, I would say it would make a lot of sense for that to be the case. And it's kind of bittersweet, isn't it? It's kind of bittersweet because that's the beauty of the music, is the music. Like, it's not like there's a complete disconnection between the lyrical content and the music there. But you can tell, Greg is being very clever about it. Losing My Grip, number 12.
I'm a fish caught on a hook.
Okay. Again, different to Fairytale for
A
sure.
role in someone else's book. Swimming blindly up a stream. In someone else's dream, it seems. Where did my free will go? I suppose I'll...
Okay, you got the drums and the arpeggiated guitar chords, and he's talking about how he's losing his own agency over his life. He's realized that some things appear to be predetermined, and he's wondering how it got that way.
All the possibilities for me. When a glimmer comes in sight, it's overtaken by the night, and
Just, I know I keep interrupting to talk about this, and I know it's probably getting stale by now, but these are not normal chord progressions that you get in like contemporary music nowadays. Across a wide variety of genres, you don't get this kind of range to the songwriting, and it sucks.
Lose my grip on reality.
Oh, the strings add a little bit of depth and the power to the mix.
Car I can't control. Stuck in this flesh without a soul.
Damn, dude, that's deep.
Voices in my head telling me my hopes are dead and gone.
Oh, yeah, that's deep. Yeah, that could be a number of things, you know, that could be sort of a paranoia of losing your control, you know, that can be depression telling you you're powerless. Yeah, this could be several things, man.
I'm not able to explain. Thoughts that flicker in my brain, so I pretend I'm really not alone. But the warmth soon disappears. I surrender as my fears undo my grip and chill me to the bone.
Bum, 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 bum. What is that kind of chord? I don't know what kind of chord that is. Bum, bum. Oh, that's like a C minor 6, C sharp minor 6 flat 5 or something like that, isn't it?
Floats in front of me, but I can't recall their true identity. The rhythm of a voice soothes me while digging through my mind. It draws me way back through time and place to all those buried things that I don't want to face. So many troubling things that I'd rather have left behind.
I don't quite like how that's traveling around the headphones like that. I know what it's trying to sort of allude to, and I don't quite like it. It's not making me comfortable as a listener, but that's important. My job as a listener isn't to feel comfortable. It's not the listener's responsibility to make me feel comfortable. That's not the point of music. Music is supposed to make you feel things. But that's the power of this music and why it's so good, is because ultimately, like, I felt so many different things from so many of these different songs. Greg is a master at manipulating the listener's emotions in a way that matches the needs of the music and the lyrics. And that's fine, because that's what you're getting into when you know, that's the point. Okay.
Lights burn bright, there's danger in the air.
Like, this is why I'm so glad I had a second take at Fairytale, because I do think it's about the loss of innocence and people giving up on their hopes and dreams. I'm really hoping that if Greg is watching this, he didn't lose hope in me just assuming. Dude, I swear, man, honestly, half of that was me freaking out about losing that footage. That's why I went back to listen to it. I'm sorry if you got the wrong idea there.
The needle punctures skin. Will the answers deep within begin?
Oh, that's a pretty ominous little brop, brop, brop kind of synthy bass going on there. Kind of like a worm going into your brain, right?
Understanding all the pain lifts me to another plane. The truth arrives and opens up my mind. I see the dark despair in all the people everywhere who grip on things that are better left behind.
Yeah, that bum bum with the strings coming in to emphasize that last bit about the depression and the shared mutual self-flagellation that goes on by people simply not being able to believe in themselves or anything else.
Heaven help me when at last they find that seething black hole locked beneath my mind. I suppressed it long ago when I was just a child.
This is not what I expected to hear on the Flat White album. Wow.
Before it, I was shining bright, but then I was plunged into the night. Crouch.
I know there's like, I know what that's potentially playing off, the Flat White album. I know what that's potentially playing off, by the way, just.
Corner from my fears that were running wild.
I think it's clever, considering like how Australian Flat Whites are. You know, like Greg Barnett has obviously got a sense of humor, but then you listen to stuff like this and it's so horrific and atrocious. It so seemingly accurately describes the inner turmoil that he's going through, and you don't know who he is anymore, but then you do know who he is because of all these different angles he's providing to you. This is a super huge, articulate and mature look at who Greg Barnett as a person is, and I think that that's a really special thing, for there to be a no bullshit take on his humanity and his person, and that's great. Human Stain.
Escaping original sin. It burns you and eats you from outside and in. We came down from the trees and we stood on the plain. Beauty and harmony and our human stain.
Oh, going back to the C-bomb, are we? I see you. That ye olden times. Oh, this is gonna be they're gonna be right in it.
Was ambling along, whistling a tune and then humming a song. When he spied his beloved, all thoughts were eclipsed. As he entered the forest, a smile on his lips. He ran silent behind her to startle his bride. She spun around quick, stuck a blade in his side.
Good. That's exactly how it's supposed to be, thank you.
He stared at the crimson that poured through his hands. Why is this so when there's peace in the land? I am dying unless you can find some magic to fix my body and mind. Her wide startled eyes were narrowing fast. How to shrug off this burden and wipe clean the past.
Oh,
I don't know what.
Was he genuinely innocent and had no idea what was going on?
I had demons inside. My guilt must be hidden, no one know how you died. My instinct was wrong, it was twisted and black. But now that it's done, there is no turning back. There's no escaping original sin.
Wow, okay, we're going real deep on this one. We had Losing My Grip, and we are doubling down on the intensity of thematic matter. You know, like, I'm all for it, man. Human Stain. I get it. I got it immediately. You know, talking about how there's nature and how human beings have kind of messed things up.
Burns you and eats you from outside and in. We came down from the trees and we stood on the plain. Beauty and harmony and our human stain.
And that melody there, the cuteness, the innocence of that, it really does balance out the severity of the material, doesn't it? Provide some semblance of an equilibrium.
He said I had planned to give you my world.
It's the most metal stuff I've heard in a while, dude.
My pretty girl, but your soul is so black, no thought could be worse. So I leave you and yours with an eternal curse.
Oh, right, great,
She buried
cool.
the body where no one would see, and the blood washed away down to the sea. But the stain had gone deeper than she could have guessed. It spread from the woods to the east and the west.
So she couldn't get rid of it by killing it.
They searched high and low, what deed had been done. No one could say where the young man had gone. Many had seen him go off in good cheer. What ill had befallen, what was there to fear?
Get stabbed in the waist by someone when you try and wife them without their permission, my dude. It's
Turn on town, and then friend turn on friend. Mistrust and hate without any end.
oh my goodness.
Each for himself till we all went insane. The world was undone by the great human stain. There's no escape.
Whoo, Greg. Oh, Greg, you're doing this, man. You're doing this. This is a ride, dude. This is a bit of a ride. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Like, this has gotten me a little bit. I get it. It makes a lot of sense to me, and I even agree with it. To be honest, like, people just lose their stuff over this kind of thing, you know, like, and just relationships break down, and that's the vulnerability, the fragility of the human condition, man. We are just scared animals underneath the ego, man. Just scared animals.
It burns you and eats you from outside and in. We came down from the trees and we stood on the plain. Beauty and harmony and our human stain.
And there's no more drums.
The towns and the cities grew.
I've just been kind of enjoying, I haven't really commented on what the guitar has been doing and what the bass has been doing. Sorry, I feel bad about that. I've just been enjoying the story that's been told. Is it bad though? Because then, am I really reviewing a song if I don't talk about its various elements?
And bare, filth in the water.
I just feel like a lot,
smoke in the air.
like, it's nice to have these chords going up the guitar in this part, you know, those higher pitched ones, to make the most of the range above the vocalist's, you know, comfortable chest voice.
Vicious he murder and rape. No hope remained for the sad naked ape.
I mean, like, I suppose I've already pointed out, just, it's brutal, dude.
When someone smiles and they offer their hand, do you know what lies behind their eyes? 'Cause for millions of years we have lived tooth and claw. How can we ever be civilized? So there's no surprise. At all, none at all, no, none at all.
It's ascending,
Is there no shame?
going to that minor tonality there.
The dark human stain, will it always remain? Deep within us all.
Oh, resolving to the major, are we? Wow, that was a ride. I was not expecting that, but I suppose... Can we listen to that last bit without me talking? Just for a moment, I want to catch that again.
Human stain, will it always remain? Deep within us all.
Okay, I understand it now. I suppose the major tonality at the end with that chord and the various instrument and overall harmony could suggest that there is hope that we will improve in the future, but I don't know, man. It's pretty tricky. The rest of the song did not spell a happy story and a happy future for us. I get it. There is a cynicism that the music is deceptive. There is an innate cynicism towards human beings here. Maybe I hope for the future if we can learn to figure out what the other person... Like, I think part of it is just thinking constructively. I think half the time, if we just think about what we're I don't want to get into that. No, I'll finish it. We're already 1.5 hours into a music review anyways. I might as well get philosophical about it. I know the kind of person that Greg's talking about. They're the people that smile to your face and actually want to stab you in the back. And with those people, the best you can do is simply just try and figure out, just ask them what they want, right? But then people will just try and gaslight you, and you shouldn't have to worry about that stuff. But again, that's the human stain. It's people thinking they're more important and more entitled than they really are. It's people thinking that life is just one game when in fact there's actual consequences to doing stupid stuff. But this isn't my soapbox. This is human stain. And Greg Barnett communicated himself a lot more adeptly than I did. Yeah, I don't even know where to begin writing music like this. There's just a huge amount of creativity that is just not there with a lot of music that comes out nowadays. It's just not. Guitar Suite, number 14. Is a big one. It's 8 minutes. Pro tip for anyone watching. Usually I would consider this 2 tracks instead of 1 for the reviews, but I wasn't aware of this at the time. So it's technically, yeah. This orchestral setup's kind of nice. It's like refreshing. It's neat, and it's almost obligatory after how dark Human Stain got, right? We got some deep drums. Okay, this is cool. That's a hell of a bass resonance with those hits, isn't it? Okay, we're getting into some fairly interesting and fairly adept guitar work here. This is Greg Barnett flexing his skills a little bit, and I have all the time for it, especially when you've got the guitar as the focal point. The guitar, of course, being the main thing that's driving this album along. I think it's required that you need to show that you've got some chops. And these hammers, it's a good start. We've got a gong. Alright, fun. That's section A, I suppose. I'm going back to that slower theme that we played earlier on. I like how he's got a rubato feel to this. Oh, Okay, we had the tail, section B. Smart move. I wonder what he's using for those strings. Again, there's a playfulness to this particular bit. Oh, it's ascending? Where are we going? Oh, beautiful cloudy. Oh, hang on a minute. So this might be a feature of our reviews where on. Nope. We have the nanoleaf panels that's decided to turn off, which is there's lots of fun. I wonder what else is going to be inserted into later on. There's intermittent bits of tension created by the chromaticisms between the different instruments, and then we make it charming again. He likes his triplet flow, doesn't he? So bright and very pretty. Modulation of that melodic sequence. Nice guitar harmonies. Okay, again, section C or section D? Where are we going with this? Oh, okay. Oh, up. Okay, I could semi-repeat this, predict this. Oh, chorus? Oh, we got a choir going on in there. I like that. It was interesting to have the choir there for that bit. Greg must have just wanted that particular texture there, the overall sound. Quite adept fingerpicking, actually. This crab hammer, claw hammer style. Ooh. Very deliberate sounding string playing here. Oh, we got some Christmas bells now. What is that instrument? What are these different ingredients here? This sounds like a fantasy movie, like a It's been a hell of a journey so far, hasn't it, through just Guitar Suite alone. That is not an easy thing to play on the guitar. How do you decide to just do this here? It's not totally separate from what we had before. But how do you decide to do that? there must have been like a plot that he was working with internally to structure this. I know this refers back to previous themes that were mentioned in the song. I guess it's just how Greg is rolling, right? Guitar suite. And finishing on those natural harmonics. Hey, we even got the applause there. That's a ballsy move, but he's earned it. He's earned it. That's great. That's good fun. It's nice to have the guitar treated in that respect. You can do a lot with an acoustic guitar, even a steel string, you know? But I'm still glad that he did put in additional elements so that it wasn't just guitars, as I think that having just the guitar and drums like in the guitar suite, not to confuse things, track number 9, having that more sort of classical vibe with this was a good one. Helps to contrast the two and made the 8 minutes nice and interesting throughout. Especially because you need like a few different sections like A, B, C, D, E, etc. if you're working for more of a symphony kind of effect. Track 15, The Web.
I guess it's all up to me. A knock at my door.
Okay, where are we going?
A ring on my phone.
Huh?
Who was it for? Or was it for me alone?
Okay, we got a much... Again, it's very different to Guitar Suite.
I turned around. She held me tight. She said, calm down, clown. You'll never fight me tonight. Hand in hand into the promised land. Must take care. This could be sinking sand.
This could be sinking sand. So when someone trapped him in a relationship and he feels like he's going to drown underneath the sinking sand. Is this traps? Is this shenanigans? I'm liking again, the drum recording's phenomenal. You know, whoever was responsible for mixing and mastering the drums and recording them, even playing them, stellar effort. Like, I love how the guitar sounds, but that snare sound especially, beautiful.
She leaned over me. Her lips were glistening red.
Okay.
Instead of keeping her, she kept me instead.
Oh, I get it. So this is one of those relationships where the person kind of like makes you feel like you're powerless, right?
Stuck inside her web, wrapped in her cocoon. She gives me what I need, can't see me getting away too soon.
Oh, so it's... What is the situation?
In hand, into the promised land. Must take care. This could be sinking sand.
It's like he's crying out, but he doesn't really want it. Like, I don't know how to feel about this track. Like, I enjoy it. I think it's straight to the point. It's really smart to have this one 3:21. It's more of a... Yeah, I don't think you could have spent 8.5 minutes talking about this particular theme. Although I'm sure that Greg Barnett would have figured out a way to make that work. Okay, we're letting the listener contemplate what this could be about. Got that organ going there for a different tone, a different color.
Close, she whispers in my ear. She knows all those little things, the things that I want to hear.
Oh, that sounds creepy. So this person's like one of those people who kind of manipulate you into doing what you want.
Can't move my arms, can't shake my head. I'll give up everything to stay lying here in her bed.
Oh, that's too real, man. Actually, that's too real. I think there's a lot of people who are going to uncomfortably be able to relate to this.
Hand in hand, I'm taking you into the promised land. Must take care. She tells me there's gonna be singing. Is this heaven or purgatory? Will she ever set me free?
No. Just get out, man. You gotta get out of there, dude.
I guess it's all up to me. Why do I want her so badly?
The eternal question, man.
I guess it's all up to me.
Dude, phenomenal drum performance as well, but also just in general, the story that was told, it was really well done because it didn't just say, oh, I don't like this, but I can't leave. It was more intricate and mature with the way it described the situation. Some people, it's just, they make you feel comfortable in that purgatory and they're like parasitic and you just think, oh, and you just get withered down by it, man. Anyone in an abusive relationship would be able to relate to this. The thing is, Greg is very astute at delivering music concepts in a way that isn't really confronting musically. But when you consider the lyrics, they're actually incredibly horrific. And I have to say that that's incredibly impressive. Well done to Greg Barnett for being able to do that. Like if you remove the lyrics with that, it doesn't sound as dark as the lyrics. It gets catchy, it gets stuck in your head, sure. But there's replay value there. And like, you know, when you had the call and response, the two sides of the coin, the person wondering if they really can leave in that last chorus, it was a scary thing to listen to, dude. You know, there was a groove to that music in the web, but the lyrics were incredibly just full on. Looking for Love, number 16. Again, guitar led. The drums.
Looking for love, loving someone, looking for someone to love. Circling round, knowing love can be found. You need luck on your side, because love is so blind. Love is pleasure, but love can be pain.
I like how the harmony suddenly becomes more complex when he talks about the difficulties of love being not all sunshine and daffodils. That's a smart move.
You want to feel it again. That pleasure and pain always drives you insane. So why are you looking for love again?
Oh, so this relationship's about someone who, like, despite getting hurt over and over, just maybe they're not ready to be in a healthy, happy relationship. They just continue to stare for it anyways.
Always looking for love. The sun can rise and fill your eyes, and hope springs eternal each day.
I'm liking how we're talking about the sun and hoping eternal, and that organ comes in as a happy little positive bit of color to the mix and the higher edge.
Make my love yours and I'll make yours mine, but heartbreak's just one kiss away. Crying, moaning,
Is that a double bass?
sighing sounds of two people in love.
It's like a cello or a double bass? I think it's a double bass, isn't it?
Soft words like the cooing of birds, with your bodies entwined. Losing love seems absurd. Passion and pain and voices raised. The old hurts bring darkening days, and doubts grow stronger. The silence is longer, so soon you'll be looking for love again.
Oh,
Always looking
too real,
for
man.
love. here to stay.
Okay, so it's talking about how fragile love is and how you can be in a honeymoon period when you get together and the clouds are gone and there's sunshine. Wow, it's pretty savage stuff, dude. You know, like that blah, 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 with the clouds going away does sound really bright, like a celebratory thing, like you've just won a game or something like that.
We know it's the only way not to be lonely, so we're always looking for
Yeah, that sad acceptance that like we're probably not going to change anytime soon, you know? This is just us as human beings, that human stain. We get together and we make mistakes and we hurt each other or we don't care and then someone gets hurt regardless. And yeah, there's no way of avoiding it, man. That's the inherent failure of the human condition. We just messes. Track 17, Remote. Animal sounds. Showdown, what's the hero? Oh, flamenco guitar? Oh no, we just got those cowboy groups, right? Kind of at first I was wondering if it was like referring to people dueling over the TV remote to decide who can put the show on next. But then it's a pretty romantic out in the cowboy wastelands, eh? Where are we going with this? I've enjoyed the guitar work. I've enjoyed the engine sounds. We got the Eagles. Distorted guitars. I have endless questions about that guitar tone. It's a fun little melody though, eh? It riffs on that rhythm section, the acoustic theme that was instantiated at the start. Kind of reminds me of the Street Fighter guitar songs from back in the 90s. That was stunning. That was a really nice finish with the rattlesnakes and stuff like that. I'm not sure what that song was about, so I'm going to assume it was about people dueling over a TV remote. Although it does sound like remote is in nature-wise, so like you're stuck in nature and dealing with the different people that are different animals around you, or maybe some outlaws or something. That's the fun of an instrumental track. You don't actually know what you're going to come across. You know, it can be subjective. Take my advice featuring James Barnett, who I can only assume is a relative. Where are we going with this?
New days dawning now, distant cold. shiny tips to the grass, a new story told.
So is this James singing at the moment? He has got a different vocal timbre, but he's carrying himself well. This is good.
Cold wind wakes tired eyes, see this view.
Very bright sounding, sort of clean electroacoustic chords.
I told you it's worth the price, but you always knew. You take my advice, feeling something nice.
Feeling something nice.
Long way, my friend.
It's a long way, my friend. I like the authenticity of this vocal performance. It sounds like he's really caring about what he's saying. That bass is nice and thick in the mix, I dig that. Following the guitar.
Stay out is now closing in.
Nice repeating that vocal melody, a little bit of vocal sizzle there.
Blue turns red in face. Where have you been? Fingers as cold as ice. How is this?
Fingers as cold as ice, how is this? Where are we going with this?
Warm your mind with nothing but this gentle kiss.
Oh.
You take my advice.
Those strings are a nice touch, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Very simple vocal melody, but it works within this chorus.
Goes a long way, my friend.
That's very wholesome, isn't it?
It goes a long way, my friend.
It's a huge sounding mix because of the way things are panned. You've got the guitar, strings, bass, drums. Because of everything's placed in the stereo field, it sounds huge. And that was that. That was Take My Advice. I want to go back a little bit and listen through that first verse.
It's tired eyes, dawn now.
Okay, let's listen to this one more time.
New days dawn now, distant cold.
New day's dawning.
Shiny tips to the grass, a new story told. Cold wind wakes tired eyes, see this view. I told you it's worth the price, but you always knew. You
I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what this is about. Take my advice. Is this about someone appreciating what someone else does for them? Or I don't know, man. I had to listen to that second verse again. One more time. I don't know what this song is about. I want to take it literally, but then I've learned from Greg Barnett not to take things literally, that there's more depth to it than that. I'm also trying to figure out where I can put this album for the next 2 tracks. Oh, we've got the big boys. Well, where can I put this? Here. I know my face is probably around here. No, I can't. I'm trying to put it so that you can see the tracks here. That's the best I can do. Hopefully you can still see the album art here. I don't know what to make of this one. I love the instrumentation of it. It's more conservative than the lot of the stuff that I've heard from Greg Barnett so far. But there's a charming tonality to the voice. The guy's got a really natural vibrato to it, comfortable within his vocal range. And it sounds a natural on the mic. And I think it was great for Greg to just stand back and let James Barnett just handle that. It was cool. Very different experience to what I'm used to from Greg Barnett so far, but that's fine. It's good to have change. And all the elements sound nicely mixed together. And even though I couldn't quite figure out what the song was about, that's okay. I kind of got the rough idea that there was sort of an appreciation for what the person's been able to do with them and letting them know that just listening to someone can mean the world to them, not taking them for granted. We've got track 19, Promise. Getting kind of bright at this end with the guitar chords. And the drums are kicking in.
Feel I'm caught in a riptide. Swimming fast as I can. Lost all sense of direction. And drifting further from land that's sinking. Are you thinking? There's a chance we might drown if no one backs down. I feel I'm...
Okay. All right, I see you. I see you there. I see you there, Greg. That was a very, very quick transition back to that, isn't it? Verse 2, no mucking around. Bum, bum, bum. Very sort of almost an evil sounding chord progression there.
I feel my feet leave the ground that's shaking. Are we breaking all that we had? And it wasn't all bad. Looking for the promise of love all through my life. And just when you think it'll all be alright, a house of cards, the cracks appear. A tug of war.
Cool. Good work having those radio filters on either side to really sort of illustrate just how things are just going to get completely messed up.
Madness spreads to take us away.
Oh, these very dramatic strings come in. They can't have that love. It's got to get messed up. Screwed up, man. That's why you can't have nice things. Guitar solo? Okay. It's fun to hear him work around the chord progression he's got. Making a very chilled out guitar melody. Like there's tension to it, don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's not doing some, it's not an 80s shred solo or anything like that. And I think that's probably a good thing. That wouldn't really fit
the
this.
odds are much shorter that we're gonna survive. The heat's getting hotter and burning the lives we wanted, took for granted. So what would you do to stop it being true?
So is this song Promise about them just believing that things would work out and then things turned out to be a lie, or it was deception all along, or even though they tried their best to keep the promise, it just could not, just wasn't possible?
Looking for the promise of love all through my life. And just when you think it'll all be alright, the reaper stalks. When lies begin, the fire spreads. And floods appear to take us away.
Oh, so the forces of nature are trying to conspire against you to ruin the best efforts you have. Oh, I get it. There's a sadness and a mysticism to this. An almost supernatural element to this. All right, promise. The madness comes to promise. Just before we get into Agincourt, which is 11 minutes. My goodness, that's an EP within itself. By the way, I know I've been yawning. It's not because I'm bored. It's not even really because I'm tired. I mean, I've done six music reviews today. It's a Sunday. We've got a lockdown in New Zealand, so I'm not going anywhere. So I figured we'll just get this all done today. And I've still got another 4 of them to do tomorrow over the next couple of days. But 4 over 2 days is a lot less than 6 in 1. So that's fine. But just with promise, it just perfectly illustrates how vital it is to recognize that no matter what you do, it's sometimes just not enough. I think this is a nice sort of check to some of the material in here that's been mentioned where, it's the person's fault or it's the other person's fault that you didn't get together, or someone's being manipulative, or someone's just being coy about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes no matter how pure you are about it, it's just not enough, and that's just a fact of life, and that's the bittersweet tooth to it. And we just got to try and live with that. And the music sounded like it was trying to accept that. And the vocalist also sounded like he accepted that was just the case. And I think that's a very good song to add to a lot of the emotionally very, very strong tracks in here, to have something that kind of creases everything out and balances it. Agincourt.
For nigh 100 years, we English had been at war with France. We simple farmers are indentured by the local noble to go to war for the king in his pursuit of power, influence, land and money. 6 pennies a day during any war is a rare fortune in exchange for my trusty longbow and otherwise worthless life. So the king's coin is a godsend when our very existence is held sway by starvation, injury and pestilence. So it was in this year of our Lord, 1415, that our great King Henry V rode through our village, trailed by his dukes, earls, barons and knights, and his army of longbowmen and men-at-arms in horseback cavalcade.
Am I learning stuff? Is this educational? Because if it is, I am all for that. Thank you very much, Greg Barnett. I'm glad. I understand why this is the length it is now. Cool. Not that Greg needed to justify it necessarily. He's a very, very skilled and talented musician, as shown by the previous 19 tracks, but still. I like the pompous nature to the music. I have a feeling things are going to get very dark.
I joined this army's ranks on its march to the southern port of Southampton, from which the king intended sail to quell a troublesome France. At port, the 12,000 men, 20,000 horses, 700 sailing vessels with thousands of crew, plus food and water for all, made for a hellish chaos beyond imagining. With no others from my village, I ended up aboard a small Coast Guard vessel in the company of strangers, several horses, and tons of provisions. The fevered excitement slowly subdued as all present realised the dangers ahead, and we communed in silence with God for the success of the King's campaign and for our own safety.
I'm seeing parallels between this and the last post. I wonder if that's a thing that was kept in mind by Greg Barnett. It sounds like you're in a boat, dude.
Whether due to rum, incompetence, or divine intervention, our small ship became separated from the invasion armada, and currents took us west into a maelstrom, and we found ourselves swept towards a jagged, rocky coastline that was hell-bent on destroying us. We foundered on the rocks, and my last memory as I was flung into the broiling sea was the desperate cries of my fellows, the screams of the horses, and the tortured rending of the wooden hull. All was lost. I came to on a darkened beach with the wild sea breaking around me. Lightning revealed the debris of ship and cargo and broken bodies of men and horses alike. I dragged myself through the foaming surf and up the beach through torrents of rain to the long grass where the land took hold. Approaching from the distance, I could see lanterns held high and the sound of horses and hounds. We were discovered. I ran as if the devil himself was at my heels.
I'm assuming he survived if he was able to tell the tale, right? What a hell of a story, man. Those poor horses, dude. This is such a tremendous amount of effort to put into an album. Not only has Greg Barnett put 30 songs onto an album, he has also put this amount of effort into this audio experience. It's so easy to imagine that you're a part of it. Dude, it's so phenomenal. I am so blown away by this. This is so next level. Gosh, I miss this in music.
I awoke exhausted in the early hours. My pursuers had either given up or missed my prone, waterlogged body. The rain had mercifully stopped, and I realized my predicament. I was on enemy land with no companions, no weapons, and no food or water. With the still raging sea behind me, I could see no landmarks or sign of humanity. The wind-blown dunes and marshlands stretched to infinity. My God had truly forsaken me. I harnessed my meagre energy and headed east in the hope of finding my compatriots. I walked, stumbled, and crawled for a day and a night. I know not when I lost consciousness, but I awoke to a welcome warmth stealing over my cold, limp body. At last, thank God, the sunshine. And was this delirium? Or in truth, was that really human voices nearby in quiet conversation?
What's going to happen next?
I must have passed out yet again, but I awoke to delicious fresh water at my lips. I drank like a man possessed. My eyes slowly found focus on the group of peasants gathered around me. They showed me no harm, and one held out a lump of bread and an apple. I displayed my thanks and devoured the food, much to their amusement and pleasure. We tried to converse, but neither side understood the other. They beckoned me, and, much invigorated, I followed them back to their hamlet. Their farming tools were much the same as the ones I used at home, so, through mime and much hilarity, we struck a deal that I would work in their fields for my board and lodging.
I love this. This is so cool to listen to, dude. I'm assuming that there is a story. This has been written down, and Greg is reading it, and he's put the Foley along with it to help you understand it better. Oh, it's stunning, dude. Wow.
Autumn was soon coming to an end. I was healthy and hardened, a valued worker in the fields, and drawing looks from girls and women seeking a good husband. I was learning their language and picked up news that King Henry's expeditionary force had lost half its number to death, injury, and disease. The remainder were exhausted, dispirited, and desperate to reach Calais before defeat by French nobles amassing in ever-increasing numbers. Although enjoying my respite in the countryside and with no stomach for war, I still had a duty to help my king and countrymen. In sombre mood, I bade farewell to my saviours and newfound friends, packed a few provisions, and again headed east to see what...
Why would you do that? That makes me so angry. You literally have a life there. I don't get it,
I
man.
could do.
That's the human stain right there. Why? What are you gonna do against...
Happening upon the small village of Agincourt, on the horizon I could see lines of French pennants in their thousands, vastly outnumbering those of our own depleted force, and heard the faint waft of battle horns and bugles. I was one day's march from the battleground, and the taking part in the killing of people who were neither friend nor foe to me, or in return being injured, killed, or taken prisoner by them. Today was October 25th, my birthday, and also the feast of St. Crispin, to whom I sent a prayer for my soul and that of my compatriots. And
Why would
indeed,
you do
all that
this?
joined in battle. Every few heartbeats I saw the sky turn dark, as if a mighty flock of starlings were wheeling above the battlefield, to suddenly realize they were instead deadly fusillades of 1,000 arrows at a time. My heart sank at the imagined carnage, but I made my peace with God and committed to set off and join whatever remnants remained. At worst, I would give succour to the wounded and dying before suffering their same fate.
I suppose their loyalty is just so important to him.
As I eventually neared the battlefield, the very earth on which I stood trembled with the approach of several thousand hooves from over the next rise. Expecting to be slaughtered by the oncoming victorious French, I resigned myself to my inevitable fate, knelt, bowed my head in prayer, closed my eyes, and waited for the cold kiss of steel on my neck.
No. How could he write this otherwise?
But it was King Henry and his retinue, exhausted but triumphant.
What? Why?
I recognized a few faces amongst the rank and file.
Why?
They beckoned me to join them on spare horses, and we returned all conquering to English shores.
Okay. Why would you return? You're sorted, man.
Once landed, and as the column headed north, soldiers peeled away to rejoin their families, as I did to my own village. Being the only person to have gone and returned, I was feted as a victorious hero, and a banquet was held in my honour. I refused all entreaties to describe my journey, adventures, and tales of battle, for fear I would become a laughing stock. Folk mistook my reticence for the shock of war, heroism, and humility, raising my status even further in their eyes. And so, by sheer luck and good fortune, I had survived.
Splendid. That was a masterpiece. Thank you.
My simple life continues, awaiting the king's pleasure to wage war yet again.
Did he learn anything? Is this the point? Is the point to be angry at this guy? Because he learned nothing from it. Why would he do that? Why would that be a thing that occurred? Why would... Greg, can you help me? Why did he do that? I get how it relates to the album. A lot of the themes of the album with like the human condition and how we are just really incredibly frustrating creatures. Oh, I don't know, man. That unfailing loyalty to a king that uses us as pawns, right? I see the point. It's been made well.